Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel and welcome back to my Champions League predictions for the round 16 leg 2. Obviously the first leg came and gone. I've got a few predictions close but not many right. And that sort of summarise how the first legs went. A few draws in there and a few teams not quite making the most of their chances and a few upsets as well. But the second legs are here. Always great to have the Champions League back. And if you guys enjoy being back to and enjoy these type of videos, if you wouldn't mind liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also pressing that post notification bell so you know when I upload, obviously, videos coming out in the week, 2 podcasts a week, and more real-life football videos around the corner. Trust me, they're coming. So keep an eye on the channel and subscribe if you're new. That would be really much appreciated. Cut the waffle this week. Let's get straight into the predictions for our Leg 2 affairs. Starting off with our first game, it's Bayern hosting Lazio tonight. In what proves to be a massive game for Thomas Tuchel's reputation for Bayern Munich season. Obviously, very tough last time at the loss to Lazio away in Italy. That 1-0 result keeps them in this tie and keeps it very, very interesting. In that game there, Bayern had all the possessions, all the shots, but struggled to get anything meaningful in the final third. And that's been their problem ever since. They've had a mixed bag of results since that first tie the first leg. They just have a lot of possession, a lot of meaningless possession in many regards. But in the final third, they lack that clinical, sharp-toothed, sharp-edged ability to put the ball in the back of the net. They've now finally just sat with a back four, none of this back 3, back 5. Kept with the back 4. Kim Min-jae being back as well is very handy. It's the midfield areas, though. Right now I feel like they're lacking in terms of controlling that midfield area. Goretzka struggled in games. They haven't really found a real leader in there to almost get the job done. They put Thomas Müller in there recently as a number 10 to help that midfield out, but they really lack control and conviction in there to go and create meaningful chances, create those real easy-to-score opportunities, because a lot of longer shots, a lot of shots through defenders, and right now it feels like Manuel Neuer and Matthias Tell are probably the best players in the team. Neuer saving them in goal, and Tell, whenever he starts, whenever he plays, he seems to be putting the ball in the back of the net. So I want to see Tell and Kane playing this game. I want to see what that midfield can do for Bayern, and if they score early, it could probably be handy. They can get on top, they can hopefully dictate the game and run out easy winners, but I think Lazio will make it hard. I think this game will go to extra time. And then from there, you'll see, I guess, Bayern probably flex their muscles. They've got the better players, the better squad. In terms of Lazio, they've really struggled since the first leg. Lost 3 of their 4 games since. But last time out versus Milan, they had a very, very solid effort. Again, not much possession, not many chances, but they took it to Milan. The 1-0 loss late in the game after playing with 10 men for almost basically all the second half. So they've been impressive in some occasion. I think once again, it'll be about being tight at the back, restricting Bayern's easy opportunities and trying to nick a goal on the counter-attack, or like we saw last time from on the penalty spot there. Once again, Felipe Anderson and Luis Alberto, the key players to keep an eye on for Lazio. And for them, keep it tight and take it as deep and as late as possible. And that's the only way I can see them getting through this game. I'm going with a Bayern win. As I said, after extra time, though, I've got Bayern winning this game 3-1. Our next game sees Real Sociedad hosting PSG. Obviously, the first leg ended in a PSG 2-0 win, quite convincingly in the end. Sociedad not having a shot on target in that game there. So it goes to show the real differences of qualities of these two teams here. Sociedad really struggling since the first leg of the tie there. Locked out of Copa del Rey by Mallorca. Only managing the 1 league win in that time, which was coincidentally against Mallorca, but really struggled for some continuity and some form. A team that likes to play in high possession. I think that's the key for them here against PSG. Start the game very strong, start in the front foot. Those first 20 minutes be very important. A lot of possession. Try and break through the lines of PSG and get a goal on the board and make this game interesting. Because if they don't pounce early on when the fans behind you, the pressure's high, if PSG can sort of get through the opening 30 to 40 minutes, I think PSG will walk away with this game. And that's where I think the game we won or lost. If the game's going to go deep, late, and be a classic tie, it's going to be Sociedad scoring early. But if they can't score early, they can't make the most of dominating the midfield area, I think PSG walk this game. Obviously, PSG had a few hiccups in the last few weeks with 2 back-to-back draws in the league, but we know how good they can be. And they've got the guy called Kylian Mbappe in that side, so they're normally pretty good in front of goal. I'm going with the PSG sort of grinding out type result. I've got them winning this game 2-0 and going through 4-0 in aggregate. Our next game is in Spain. It's Real Madrid hosting RB Leipzig. Obviously, the first leg had all that controversy with RB Leipzig's goal being overturned for being offside. the late Brahim Diaz, superb solo goal. And then classic Real Madrid fashion, just grinding out a 1-0 result where RB Leipzig were arguably the better team for longer periods in that game there. And that's been the way that Real Madrid have played in the last few weeks. A lot of players out injured, a lot of rotation, lots of Tchouaméni playing at centre-half, Bellingham only just came back to fitness, and the real striker problem they've got. So last time out, obviously the 2-2 controversial draw to Valencia. They've also only managed the 1 win in the league, 2 draws and the 1-0 win since that first leg. So it hasn't really been convincing for Real Madrid. They've had a few hiccups in recent weeks, but you know their experienced players, they just manage a way to get over the line. And that's what I can see here in this game here. They've got to be worried about RB Leipzig's pace and their youthfulness on the counter-attack because, you know, you don't want to get sucked too up the pitch and get exposed, especially with this back line that's very makeshift at times. You got a few older heads in there as well, but I expect Ferland Mendy, Danny Carvajal, I think Nacho will come back into centre-half as well. And you'd probably like to see Tchouaméni and Camavinga back in midfield. Maybe a Modric or a Kroos in there to help them out as well. But it's just this quality of this team is so superb. Vinicius and Rodrigo as well. There's so many superb talents that just back them in to get the result. Obviously, RB Leipzig are the great entertainers in my mind. They score a lot of goals. They concede a few as well. That's the problem. And for them, it's trying to keep being aggressive, keep being front-footed, despite being at one of the hardest places to play in the world, which is the Santiago Bernabeu. They've got to be front-footed, attacking. Like to Dani Olmo, get him on the ball, Xavi Simons, and hopefully Benjamin Sesko and Luis Openda can finish their chances off. Obviously, a few games ago, they lost to Bayern Munich 2-1, and it's because their inability to finish in front of goal, which really hurt them. Obviously, they got the big win last time out, 3-2, and as you can see, they score goals, but they also concede goals as well. So I can imagine it'll be a high-scoring game, this one here. I'm going for a Real Madrid 3-1 win. I think they've got too much quality, too much talent, and too much know-how in this competition to get over the line in this one here. Our next game is a bit of a slam dunk. Man City are back at home hosting Copenhagen. The 3-1 win in the first leg, a real control performance, only limited Copenhagen to less than 30% possession and only the 4 shots, with the one being on target, which is the one they put away in the back of the net. For Man City, we know what they can do. They've grinded out a result versus Bournemouth. They smashed Manchester United. They smashed Luton in the FA Cup as well. They just know how to win games of football. And as I always say, after February, this team's always unbeatable. They're in their final form almost. Phil Foden's having a career-type season. Bernardo Silva's playing at a great level as well. You've got the dynamic duo of De Bruyne and Haaland. Jeremy Doku's always a handle, hard to handle in the flanks as well. And that back four, we don't talk about them much, but they're super solid at the moment. Kyle Walker, Ruben Dias, Nathan Ake back there. They don't concede many chances. And you got Rodri in midfield as well. You basically got a back five that's impossible to go past. And when you've got Haaland up front, you're going to score goals for fun. I think they're still for quite a solid squad. They'll get the game done by half-time. I've got Man City win this game 4-0. I think Copenhagen, they're going to have to go for it early on to try and make something of this affair and this two-legged tie. And I think they won't be able to do anything about it. And they're going to expose themselves at the back. And as such, Man City will have a field day. All right, this next game starts off next week's ties, and it's going to be very interesting. It is Arsenal hosting Porto. Obviously, coming into this one here, Porto are leading 1-0. And Arsenal, the first leg, they're playing great football, but just weren't clinical enough in front of goal. They had many corners, many opportunities for long shots and to break through the lines, but they just weren't clinical enough in front of goal. It's unlike Arsenal, though, because in recent weeks, they've been on a tear in the Premier League, breaking records left, right, and centre, being the first team to go 3 consecutive away games, scoring 5 or more goals, 6-0 versus West Ham, 5-0 versus Burnley, then 6-0 versus Sheffield United as of last night. So they've just been ridiculous in recent weeks. Bukayo Saka up top alongside likes of Gabriel Martinelli, who might be injured for this affair. We don't know about that. Also got Kai Havertz in the goals. Martin Odegaard's being very impressive. And the back four, I'm loving Jakub Kiwior at fullback right now, looking more solid. That back four looks like one of the best defences in the world at the moment. They look like conceding many goals. And it's going to be hard for Porto. Obviously, at the Emirates, Arsenal are very, very strong. They get a lot of easy, comfortable results because of how they dominate sides. And Porto, it's going to be very similar to that first leg. It's all about being compact, riding your luck a bit, and then trying to pinch in with Evangelisson, Galeno up top. These sort of guys, use your pace, use that ability to put the ball in the back of the net. Obviously, the goal was remarkable in the first leg. You might need something similar to that in terms of special moments to get over the line here. You're going to have to score at least 1 goal, I think, in this game to at least take it to extra time, because I think Arsenal will put 2 past Porto. But I think Porto they won't have enough quality, they won't have enough talent to beat this Arsenal side. Obviously, in the past, Arsenal could bottle it in the bottle jobs that they sort of had that mantra around them. But this new team's a different aura, different mentality and different momentum at the moment. They're going to be very hard to stop. And Porto, as much as they would try, I think they won't have enough to stop Arsenal. Arsenal at home, Arsenal the form they're in with the players they've got and the form they've got, I think they're going to be too much for Porto. I'm going to give Porto a goal in this one here, but Arsenal to win this one, 3-1. I think Bukayo Saka could have a field day in this one here and make sure Arsenal go through to the quarterfinals. Our next game is also going to be very, very interesting. We're back in Spain. It's Barcelona hosting a very interesting Napoli side. Two teams that have turned their form around since the first leg of the affair. Both drew 1-1, an uninspired, poor type game of football. Two teams that obviously are current holders of their league titles, but have both been underperforming this season. However, Barcelona have turned it around. They've beaten, I know, some lower teams, but beaten them quite convincingly in games. Whilst Napoli, well, I put him under the spotlight last week, and ever since, two incredible performances, a 6-1 win versus Sassuolo and the 2-1 win versus Juventus. So both teams have found some recent form, but it's Barcelona who last time out, got a disappointing result, a 0-0 versus Atletico, but De Jong and Pedri going down injured and both likely to miss this game means their depth in midfield is totally obliterated. You're going to got Ilkay Gundogan in there and alongside Christensen, but you're getting a real creator in that midfield area there, and it's going to put a lot on Ilkay Gundogan to create and also defend that midfield there. I'm expecting Lamine Yamal to start. I also expect Rafinha to start as well, and Robert Lewandowski as a very dangerous front three that might make João Felix play as a number 10 or like a more progressive number 8 in midfield. They just have so little depth in midfield at the moment. It's going to be a big problem. The defence sort of fixed up in recent weeks. It looks much more solid, more consistent. Araujo putting better performances in, alongside João Cancelo has been much better in the last 2 games. So there's some positives there for Barcelona, but that midfield depth, the lack of it, is going to hurt them in this game here. They come against the Napoli side, as I said, have won back-to-back games in very stellar fashion with some great performances and some great moments. They obviously rode their luck a little bit versus Juventus, but to beat the second in the table Juventus side says a lot about this team at the moment. It's when they're better going forward. Kvaratskhelia, a double against Sassuolo, and then the big goal versus Juventus. Him, Osimhen, Raspadori, Politano, these guys in the final third are going to be so important. I think when they create and when they score these large amounts of goals and keep creating chances, they look at their best. They look like what we saw last season. So once again, this game here, try and get this Barcelona back line that has been shaky in weeks prior, as well as the Napoli defence as well. If you're Barcelona, get at the Napoli defence. That has looked shaky as well. So I think the winner of this tie, the winner of this leg as well, will be the team that defends better and concedes less big opportunities. Both teams will probably try and get on the halfway line and try and dictate the play in terms of possession. Barcelona obviously being at home has a bit of an advantage there, but I think Napoli, with the fitness of their players, the availability of their players, the form they're currently in, and the momentum after 2 massive results, I've got them getting over the line here in a tight 2-1 win. I think it's going to be an absolute classic this second leg and something to definitely keep an eye on. All right, our penultimate game with the round of 16 second legs is Dortmund, who hosts PSV. Another one that's going to be very hard to tell. The first leg, obviously, PSV with a better side, but only managed a 1-1 draw. Coming to this one, though, Dortmund have put together finally a good performance. A 2-0 win versus Union Berlin, probably their best performance I've seen in the new year. They've obviously gone with only 1 loss in 2024, but the performances have not been great at all. A few too many draws, a few too many unconvincing performances. But 2-0 versus Union Berlin, Adeyemi back in the goals, and a real 90-minute type performance, progressive, locking Union Berlin on their own half, and some really great interplay type football as well. I think Dortmund at home is going to help them out as well. PSV, a great team this season, travel well in the Champions League, and obviously were ridiculous in that first leg to not be up 2 or 3-1 in many regards. But they're going to have to come here, come to a hard place with a really younger type squad in terms of European experience and try and take it to a Dortmund side who've very experienced faces, like the likes of Jadon Sancho, Marco Reus, Nico Schlotterbeck at the back. You've got some Emre Can in midfield, really, really experienced European type players. I think that know-how, that experience will get them over the line, especially with the home crowd advantage. And with the fact they can hopefully continue that momentum from the last performance on, I expect them to get the job done here. It's going to be tight in the early periods, but I think over the game, Dortmund will try and show their quality and they'll get over the line. I've got them win this game 2-1 over PSV. That now brings us to our final game, Atletico Madrid hosting Inter Milan. I still highlight this is probably the best tie at anyone here. Second leg is hopefully going to be as good as the first leg. Obviously, the first leg, both teams had their fair chance, but no one could finish. Inter Milan coming to this second leg with a 1-0 lead, but could have been 2 or 3. And in many regards, Atletico could have nicked it 1 or 2-0 as well. Both teams are very, very solid in terms of the back. That's both their calling cards, very solid in the back and defensive areas. But the difference these two teams have is I like what Inter Milan do with the ball and going forward. I think Atletico Madrid are the best without the ball, the ability to counter-press, counter-attack, and catch teams on the break, whereas Inter Milan can break teams down with possession, with smart play. Look at that midfield with Alex Barella in that midfield, alongside Henrik Mkhitaryan and Assolini as well in that midfield areas. We obviously touch on how good their fullbacks are, whether it be Matteo Darmian, DeMarco, all these great wing backs that can push high up the pitch and create chances. When you've got Lautaro Martinez alongside either Arnautovic or Sanchez up top, you've got finishers. You've got Thuram there at times as well. You've got finishers up top that can put the ball in the back of the net, and that's the difference between these two sides. Morata and Memphis Depay, solid strikers. They're not consistent enough. They're not as clinical in front of goal as the likes of Lautaro Martinez can be in front of goal. I think if Inter get the first goal, it could be tie over. Let's go get the first goal, though. We know what Simeone can do in big cup competitions. They can grind it out. They can make it difficult for Inter Milan. I expect Inter Milan to have 65% possession, control the game, control the tempo. But, Atletico will be fine with that. They'll want to play without the ball, counter-attack, counter-press, like the Coque in that midfield there, trying to create in terms of winning the ball back. The Paul in there, these guys are good when they don't have the ball. They can win the ball back and spring that counter-attack. That will be their mentality. For Inter, it's about being the same old Inter. Solid at the back, but very good in possession, creating chances, and hopefully scoring the first goal here to kill this tie off. I think Inter's quality will show through. I see there have been goals in this game here. Both teams will have to go for it at different periods of time. I've got Inter Milan winning this game 3-1 and going through 4-1 on aggregate. And with that being said, ladies and gents, that brings my predictions for the Champions League round of 16 leg 2 affairs to an end. Let me know what you think of my predictions. Am I right? Am I wrong? How do you think this will all play out? Who do you think is the favourites right now in the Champions League? Is it Real Madrid? Is it Man City? Is it Inter Milan? Do you like an Arsenal? Does Porto upset Arsenal? There's so many different storylines why we love the Champions League. Obviously, the first legs are a bit underwhelming, but hopefully the second leg affairs here can live up to the expectations, live up to that Champions League aura, and can be exciting for us all to watch. If you guys did enjoy the video, please make sure to smash the like on it, subscribe to the Player Zone channel if you like this type of content, and also press that post notification bell to know when I upload. Also share the channel with mates, people who enjoy this type of football content. Obviously a lot here housed on the channel, almost 250 plus videos here to take a look from, so definitely join us for the journey here. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so any new subscribers would be much appreciated. With all being said, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoy the midweek Champions League action across this week and next week. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in a video or podcast very, very soon. Till then, guys, see you later.